Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm Susan Quinn with ToutSuite, and this is DDA. Hello.
Hello.
We are drinking the To Me Pinot Noir from Alexander Valley 2011. Thank you very much, To Me. Their sister company was Silver Oak. We were there last night with Chef Dominic doing a live cooking demonstration. That was really fun.
That was very cool, but actually this is the Anderson Valley.
Oh, what did I say?
Alexander.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I get those mixed up.
It's all right.
They both start with A.
That's right.
I'm not in the wine business. I'm in the tech business. He's in the wine business, so he corrects me when I So anyway, Anderson Valley. We are really excited tonight to bring to you the writers and the guys behind EepyBird who have written the book, The Viral Video Manifesto. And let's bring them right in and start talking about this exciting, your lifestyle and everything that you're doing. So this is Stephen Voltz and Fritz Grobe.
Hey there.
Hi.
So I want to start off by
2013 Dos Equis.
Yeah. Ooh, most interesting.
And in the world.
I have a 2013 Coca Cola.
All right.
Vintage.
Excellent. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, indeed.
All right.
So let's just start off by each of you, 10 seconds after you take a sip,
Yeah.
10 second bio. Who are you and what brought you together?
So I'm Fritz, and I spent 20 years working as a professional juggler.
I'm Stephen, and I spent 20 years working as a trial lawyer.
And astonishingly enough, we did actually meet at a performing arts school here in Maine called the Celebration Barn Theater. We were both really fascinated by how, ordinary everyday objects could do crazy things. So Stephen was playing, Stars and Stripes Forever on a glass of water, and I was, climbing through a coat hanger.
He's also a contortionist.
Yeah.
True. True story.
I did see a video.
Maybe have more Coke, we can get him to climb through a coat hanger for us.
Yeah.
Got to get him to drink a little more Coke then.
Yeah, so we were paging through your book. Actually, somebody borrowed it. She just brought it back to me today, and so I read it viral fast.
Nice.
But it's really fascinating. Absolutely love a lot of stuff. We're going to get to a lot of that tonight. But what is the key to viral videos in your own words?
Well, viral video is really about creating an emotional connection. We tend to think of viral video as video. You bring the same techniques and the same thinking that you bring to television or films, but it's completely different. The techniques are completely different. It's really fundamentally, can you create an emotional connection?
The surprising thing is that TV content can work online. I mean, Hulu's doing great, and we're watching all of our TV, frankly, online. No one's watching on TV sets anymore. But that content's not contagious in the same way that viral videos are. And the reason is that what you need to do with viral video is very different than what you need to do on TV. So on TV, you just need to get people to watch and keep watching and keep watching and keep watching and keep them there for the 3 or 4 hours that they've got after they come home from work.
Everybody sits back.
It's the lean back versus the lean forward.
Right.
But to get people to share,
you need them to stop what they're doing and lean forward and touch their mouse and click and say, I'm going to share this with my friends. So it's a very different state you need to put people in. So the techniques that work in TV, which really mesmerize us, and we're very effective for that, are the opposite of what you want for viral video.
So can you explain that lean forward? Because I don't know if people today really are attuned, like you said, they're used to television. And so can you delve a little bit deeper into the lean forward mindset or the experience?
Sure.
So what researchers have found is that the content that's most contagious is something that spreads an active, positive emotion. So something that makes us laugh or something that's amazing, that's what gets us engaged, and that's what gets us going, oh my gosh, I've got to tell you all about this cat video that I just saw because it's so funny.
Or things that are inspiring or uplifting.
Yeah.
It's surprising. It has emotional, but of all of the different emotions in the spectrum, the ones that are most contagious are the positive ones. You can sometimes get people to spread negative stuff. There's that whole genre of what I call kick in the nuts videos, where it's like, oh, dude,
yeah.
And those spread, but those aren't nearly as viral. Yeah, exactly. But those aren't nearly as viral as
my favorite one. I think my favorite one, you know, I've even shared it in our crowdfunding campaign and things like that, is the shirtless dancing man about crowdsourcing.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That makes me cry. And I watch it over and over again, and I'm like, wow, you know. Yeah, so that's a good, you know.
I would have thought that the injury videos would have really caught on, but the more we looked at the research on it, that's not true. It's the positive, fun, uplifting stuff that spreads.
And that seems like a conflict, you know, a different thing that on TV it's more of shoot 'em up and more violence, and online it's more about.
And on television, television exploits what's called the Orienting Response, which is our brains. You know, evolution has trained our brains to, if we see a sudden movement or we hear a sudden noise, we orient towards that sound or that
involuntarily. You have to do it.
Yeah. So with television and film, where they're constantly cutting from one scene to another, they're constantly giving you a new angle or a new zoom or a new sound. That just keeps us attentive and actually jars us out of that mode that can get us active and sharing. Whereas what you see online a lot is one single shot.
Right.
There's no edits, and it just allows you to create that emotional connection and let it sing. I
was just reading something about the no news movement or something, and they were saying, you know, online news is possibly the worst because links within text actually distract you and take you away because they're giving you something. Oh, I have to make a decision. Do I continue or not? So that's awesome. That's
I don't know. I kind of like that. You know, keep me that easy. My brain is working. But you know, and when you guys, so you're making a living doing viral videos?
Yeah, we make videos for brands like Office Max, ABC Family, McDonald's, and integrate and some Coca Cola, integrate their products into the videos that we make.
So you're responsible for the content and the creation of that, and they give you the cameras and the means to put this thing together. And how long does it take you to create a video?
We're actually going to be launching a new video on Tuesday of next week, Coca Cola Glass Magic. And that video took us about 3 months, but our videos can take anywhere from a month to
6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, we're often working on other projects in between them, but it's for the bigger stuff. It's a longer development process because what we like to do is find something that's never been done before with ordinary stuff. So a lot of exploration, and then we put that together into a little piece and choreograph it into a short little couple of minutes.
Explain that a little bit. What do you mean by ordinary versus extraordinary? And can you talk to us a bit about the correlation between the length of a video? Is it like a 2 minutes? What is the sweet spot here? Is there one?
Yes. So this really brings us to two of our rules for viral video from the Viral Video Manifesto. So rule number 3 is be unforgettable. You want to do something different and you want to take it further than anyone else has. So Stephen was talking about, you know, the Coke Zero and Mentos rocket car. We spent 6 months working on that.
Yeah.
But it also brings us to rule number 2: don't waste my time.
Yeah.
So, which goes to how long should a video be? And it's surprising. I thought we would find a 2 to 3 minute sweet spot. And what we found was there's viral videos of almost any length you can imagine. And the work that we do is about 2, 3, sometimes a little longer. But I think that's because that's where our training comes from, and the clowning work that we've done, and the stage work that we've done. That's about the length of a good piece. Sometimes it can get longer, but that's as long as the good core of a piece. But when we went back to write Viral Video Manifesto and we looked at all the videos that had gone viral, not just our own, there's Dramatic Chipmunk, which is like 8 seconds. And it's just like, dump, and it's over. And then there's Battle at Kruger Park, which is this riveting wildlife video of stuff in South Africa in a game preserve, and there's lions and water buffalo, and then crocodiles come out of the water. It's amazing. That's a full 8 minutes, got tens of millions of views. And then there's this crazy video. There's some really long too that when they've got a really hardcore fan base, the review of the Phantom Menace, which is what? How long is the total review?
It's a review of Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. It is about as long as the movie itself. It's a 90-minute review of this movie.
It's like a 75-minute movie.
Yeah, it's by Red Letter Media. It's brilliant, and it's got several million views.
Yeah. Anything with Star Wars, there's.
Absolutely. But the key
But it's really good. It's not just Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
Fan fiction.
Yeah. But the key is whether it's 6 seconds or whether it's 6 minutes, don't waste our time. Only show us the money shots and then get out.
And that may mean you've got 15 seconds. Yeah. But that's great. Find your 15 seconds and be done. And that can spread. If you take 15 good seconds and spread it into 3 minutes and you show the angles and the setup and we're interviewing Fritz Grobe, who's about to do an amazing 15 seconds. That won't spread. Just get in, explain what you're about to do, and do it. Almost anything. Surprising.
So it's like a menu at a restaurant. If you say we're serving you lamb and peas and mashed potatoes, you better get lamb, peas, and mashed potatoes pretty quick.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, if we signed on
and something else, and it takes a half hour, you're not going to be happy.
One of the things we say is if you've got a sword swallower, show her swallowing swords. Don't tell us her life story.
Right.
Get down to business. We're here to see something specific. Just deliver. Don't dress it up more than it needs to be.
The one thing you do need to do is set it up enough so people understand what you're showing. When we first put our Coke and Mentos 100 bottle extravaganza into a video, we showed it to a couple of friends to get their feedback, and a lot of very positive feedback. But one great comment we got from a friend of ours, that was great. I have no idea what you're doing. Yeah. And we realized that we were so inside it that we hadn't explained to the viewer what was going on. So we added to the piece the first few, maybe 15 or 20 seconds where we have one bottle. We show what happens. You drop Mentos into one bottle and it makes a geyser. And then we cut to the whole table full of stuff. But without that setup, you don't appreciate the punchline. So you want enough to explain where you're going and what your basic elements are. But as soon as you got it set up, go to the sword swallower.
Get right down to it.
Can you get a little bit deeper just for a moment about that concept of it's not about the story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of the most surprising things that we found about viral video is that as filmmakers and advertising people, we're all used to thinking of everything as story, because stories are really powerful ways to connect with people. But really, in viral video, story is a waste of time.
Because what you're really looking for in viral video is that sideshow moment. That moment where you go, oh my God, she just fell in a vat of grapes. Or oh my God, she swallowed a sword. Or whatever the oh my God moment is. And that's all it's about. It's just about that crazy moment where you go, oh my God, I've never seen that before. And if you tell a story, you lose that. And one of the things I realized, I practiced 20 years as a trial lawyer. One of the things I realized about halfway through my practice was, oh my God, I'm really just a storyteller. So I spent a lot of my energy getting people's cases together and then telling the stories to the judges and the witnesses and the juries and realizing that really what I was doing and I fancied being a storyteller. And I had to throw all that stuff out for this kind of work because it's really just about, there he goes, whoops, he fell on his butt. That's it. It's all just like
You think about Felix Baumgartner's jump from the edge of space.
Yes.
Do we want all kinds of background on him and what was it like as a boy growing up? No, we want to see him jump out of this capsule. Let us see the big event.
When this guy jump out of the capsule, what do you think people were expecting? That the guy would free fall and crash, or because you're talking about earlier about everything is positive and fun and all that. But I can guarantee you one thing. I believe that a lot of people, at least half of the viewers, is watching to see if something bad is going to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the heart of a lot of sideshows. I mean, viral video is the 21st century sideshow. Nick Wallendo walking across the tight wire over Niagara Falls. It's all about, is it really going to work? Or is this going to go horribly wrong? That's a big component.
But I'll bet you.
That reminds me of Evel Knievel.
Yes,
that might show my age, but I remember watching Evel Knievel as a child on TV, and you'd wait like 2 hours, I think. It felt like.
They did.
Yeah. But now he couldn't do that. Now he could have a TV for 2 hours, but if he was online, it would not be a 2-hour video. It would be 19 seconds of and across, and that would be all the video that would go viral.
Yep.
But it's also worth remembering that you will tune in to see something that might go horribly wrong.
Right.
You will share with your friends what goes horribly right.
Right.
You will share with your friends the thing that is emotionally positive. You're much less likely to share with your friends when the guy falls and it doesn't go well.
Right.
I'd be curious to see how many people posted on their Facebook page the video of that basketball player in the NCAA tournament that broke his leg.
I didn't see it.
And everyone's riveted by it, but in terms of, hey, you got to see this, people don't share that the same way they do. Oh my God, look at this amazing shot! It bounced off of here and there and there, and then it went in. And that positive stuff is surprisingly.
I suppose you're right on that, but that was also shared by ESPN and CNN and a lot of your videos you guys are talking about. Never will make the mainstream media. So.
But you can talk about if it's pushed and delivered to you, like the basketball player that broke his leg, or you can, if you're going to share something on your personal profile, that's speaking about yourself a lot more than saying, did you see that on CNN or did you see that on ESPN? And so this is a more of a personal, delivery to, I think it's like choosing what we wear or what we drink. If we're drinking Coke or we like Pepsi or Coke, it tells a little bit about who we are, and the same thing about what you share. And so that sort of connects for me big time.
You guys are specializing into creating videos, and so we live here in Napa Valley, and this is a farming community and all that. So the videos is kind of like starting to come up, but it's still very, very slow for people to really embrace and all that. Most of the video that you guys are talking about are kind of more of videos about
the pets and the dancing.
Exactly.
Bouncing balls, thousands of bouncing balls.
But
and experiments and amazing stuff.
Yeah, but how, for business standpoint, what would be your recommendation for people really to take this a little bit more seriously, or most of the time, I guess, what we see is that people don't know exactly what to do with it, or how to take it, and how to use it, and how to not use it, to make it happen, but how to use it afterwards.
To resonate with the brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And be like exactly, and be. So, any thoughts on that? Do you have any direction for friends, winemakers, and need to jump bulldozer and crack the vineyards, and I don't know.
Because they are also storytellers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
what we find the way to match up what works in viral video with a brand is to realize, as we were saying before, what a viral video really can do. We can make something that will help all of the viewers experience an emotional moment. Not a big, heavy, crying one or whatever, but just a smile or a laugh or a good moment of good feeling. A wow, if we do it right.
Yeah.
And we can make that a different kind of flavor. But and the brand needs to have an emotional connection with their audience, with their potential customers. So what we try and do is talk to artists about what's the emotional message, the emotional delivery that you're trying to provide with your product. So if it's wine of a certain vineyard, they've got a certain niche, a certain kind of
feeling that goes with that.
Exactly. So you want to have a video that may or may not involve wine, but has that same feeling. So if we're always number one, we're the best, then you have that can be the message that you get across. Or if it's we're comfortable and we're the one that's for family time or whatever, you can have that emotional message. And then you make your viral videos, hoping it will go viral around that kind of emotional message. So, for example, if we were doing Coke and Mentos geysers again, we could do that with kids if the message was for kids, or we could do it with a very scientific approach, or we could do it with an engineering approach. But you don't want to tie the product in too tightly because then it becomes a commercial. But when you're going to deliver an emotional moment, you want to make that emotional moment resonate with the emotional delivery that the product, the brand is doing. That's when you can really make a big difference for the brand.
Yeah, a lot of the most successful campaigns that we've seen, they aren't about the features and benefits of the product. They're about that emotion. So whether it's Sony Bravia sending 250,000 Super Balls bouncing down a hill in San Francisco, which has nothing to do with televisions, but it's an emotional moment that connects with their theme of color.
And that's all they need.
And that is great for connecting. I'll always be grateful to Sony Bravia for making that video. Similarly, T-Mobile with their flash mob dance in the UK, hugely successful for them, like 22% boost in handset sales. And it has nothing to do with mobile phones. Right. It's all about people connecting with each other and having a great time dancing together. And T-Mobile is the one who made that happen.
And T-Mobile is about connecting people with each other, and that was enough of a tie, and they were like, fantastic. Or even like Felix Baumgartner jumping out of space. He didn't do that because he drinks Red Bull. Right. But no one really cared. It was like, Red Bull gives you wings. This guy's awesome. They're awesome. The whole thing's crazy.
So it's giving you an insight into the lifestyle that's represented by the brand and the fun, and it becomes part of your own story because now you are like engaged with that event and
exactly.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit?
That kind of marketing is way more powerful, I think, than features and benefits and the checklist of competitors and you and all that stuff.
Because people have changed the way that they view product delivery messages. We already know you're telling us something. We want to find out for ourselves. We want to have fun. We want to know what our friends are doing. And the sharing part of that is incredible if you're introduced to a new product through a share from your friend. Can you talk a little bit more about the production values? And I think you say in your book that TV and movie production versus online video is absolutely and completely different.
Yeah. So when you're in TV, so we got to experience this a little bit with making our Coke Mentos rocket car, where they brought in Rob Cohen, who directed The Fast and the Furious, to direct our little video. And he said, "Oh, it's great to be here, getting back to my guerrilla roots. We're looking around. This is the biggest crew
there
we've ever worked with."
There were 60 people there.
Yeah.
There were 60. We're usually we're out there. We got 3 friends and a camera, and now maybe a few more people. But there were literally 60 people. And he said, "Wow, I usually have this many department heads. I'm glad we."
And so you're used to sort of packaging this completely, and making sure that you get every detail correct, down to the way that the person puts your gum into his or her mouth. I mean, those are the kinds of details you can control when you're making a TV commercial. But online, you're going for rule number 1: be true. You want to keep this simple. You have a chance to create this really direct emotional connection to give people a sense that they are there witnessing something that's really happening. So dressing it up just gets in the way.
One of the things about online video is that I think partly because of its roots and partly because of just the nature of the creation and the sharing of it, is it can start with dorm videos of just kids dancing in their dorms or showing their family movies and posting them on YouTube. And they were watched friends. So you're used to this very unfiltered experience of I'm here in my friend's dorm room or in their living room or wherever it is. And that feeling is really powerful. That's what people connect with. And when you put in an edit or a producer or a special effect or a graphic, that's a filter that says you're not here right now. Someone is giving you their version of what happened. So all of that one shot, one camera, unedited stuff becomes really powerful, and every filter, every edit, every direction, every cut becomes one thing that takes away from that I'm really there at the moment feeling, and it's that I'm really there with this moment stuff that can be powerful.
Yeah, you said in your book about the steady cams and the cranes, and if you're feeling that instantly, it's not real, because it tells the brain this isn't what it would be like to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah. You want to think of the camera as your audience. So it's as if the camera is a real person right there, and you're performing, you're presenting to them. So a zoom becomes essentially grabbing them and yanking them towards you. And a cut becomes magically teleporting them across the room. Rather than messing with people, just keep it simple and create this kind of direct connection. One of the ways it ends up manifesting itself is that for viral video, what we've experienced is that the emphasis in a budget almost reverses, where on television you may spend a very little amount of time on development and a lot of money
production and the production and the set and the post-production, and then buying the time to get it on the network. If you take that budget, the way our budgets are structured, exactly the opposite. We spend a lot of time and a lot of the budget before we turn the camera on, figuring out what crazy things we can do with whatever it is we're working on. And then
the objective,
no production values. Just turn the camera on in a place where we're clear about what we're doing, and just run the camera till we're done.
Because the objective is to be unforgettable.
Right.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of work to create something that nobody's seen before.
But once you have that, get out of the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. You
How did you convince brands like Coca Cola to go with one camera, not moving? And how did you possibly?
It's still a battle sometimes.
Yeah.
It's still a battle.
And is it about numbers? And how do you even approach getting numbers like that when you're just starting out?
There's a couple things. One is if you follow the rules, if you're true and you have something unforgettable and you don't waste time and you make sure that ultimately what you're showing is about some kind of humanity, some side of humanity, that's the kind of content that really can catch on if you follow all of that stuff, and music figures in there as well. And then now there's the issue, there's so much video on YouTube that's being uploaded. I mean, the time we're talking, there's like 36 hours of videos being uploaded. So you may need to spend some of your budget on helping your video get viewed initially, so it gets above the noise to have a chance to take. Because you need now in the 2013 to spend some of your budget to just get above all of that noise that's down here and rise up above it, and then fail or succeed based on your merits.
Yeah.
But to rise out of the sea right now, there's so much. It's hard to do without a budget.
One of the things that we strive for with a really specifically with an viral advertising campaign is to, on television you only get the views you pay for, basically.
Right.
But with viral video, you can jumpstart by getting your video paid in front of a bunch of people, but then you want the viral to take hold. Right. You want people to be sharing that so that one person sees it and then they tell 800 of their friends, and it starts spreading.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel YouTube is handling so we have the House of Cards on Netflix, and we have a lot of original content coming on. I think YouTube's doing some things with that soon.
Yeah, they are.
What is your take on the different platforms?
My sense is that it's a really interesting place that YouTube is going right now, and it's a direction away from the work that we do with viral, in a direction much more strongly in the direction of television. Basically what they did a year and a half ago is they took $100 million and they invested it in a bunch of producers. And they said, here's studio space, here's budget, we want you to make as many different kinds of shows as you can. And they carefully selected who they were. But what they were trying to get them to make were essentially YouTube TV shows, as opposed to the kind of stuff that we do that's just one crazy thing that gets spread around virally all over the internet. And I think they're going to succeed in that. They're going to go through a few different rounds, and things are going to fail, and some are going to work. But we know how to make content. That's not what we do. But Hollywood and video makers know how to make content that people will watch. And now with YouTube, they've got unlimited number of channels. It's not like they've got the 100 and whatever you get on cable, or the 9 that we used to have when we had just a regular turned TV set. And the other thing they can do is if they can get all of those, or let's say 50 good channels going, and then they'll try and build that. They can then go to advertisers, aggregate all that stuff, and say, we now have predictably 14 million people watching this set of however many shows they are. We can dial the demographics very granularly, so they can go, you want 12-year-old girls? We can give you 100,000 12-year-old girls. If you want people, guys between 34 and 56, we've got them. And that's a really great way to go to advertisers and get those budgets in your hands. Different than what we're doing, but
so talking about YouTube, which is Google's company, analytics. Yeah. How reliable are analytics these days, and views? How does YouTube count their views? Just speak freely.
We don't know is the answer. Yeah. We go, oh, good, we got a lot of views. Yay. Yeah. And also sometimes, hey, where'd our views go? We had a bunch of views, they took them away, and we don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and long-form video is even harder. I think that YouTube is doing, you have to complete the video. They don't count a view that's played automatically within a web page, and and it's different with other platforms that you may have hundreds of thousands of views, and in YouTube you have thousands.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
And so is that gonna get to a consistency in your opinion? I mean, I'm not asking you to. We don't know, but.
Right. I would think so. I mean, they continually are improving their algorithms, and we'll get better and better metrics. The thing that we've been focused on so much, though, is, well, what do you make? Like, okay, so your goal, whether YouTube measures it as 2 million views or 6 million views, what can you do to generate the interest that will make something that can get millions of views?
And particularly for us, stuff that people pass on to their friends.
Yeah. So this brings us to the question that we hear a lot is, what's the SEO? I mean, is that right? Yeah. No, the ROI.
Oh, yes. What's the ROI?
Actually, the ROI for viral video.
Okay, third glass of wine.
Yeah.
You guys acted really nice when I said that.
BMW.
What's the ROI?
The ROI for viral video actually can be really interesting to click and very powerful if you look at it. The easiest way for us to compare it in simple terms is to compare it to TV, which is a known quantity of things to buy. You can buy 30-second spots, and everyone knows what those are worth if you reach a certain number of people, and that's got sort of a standard unit of measure.
So if you look at our sticky note video from a couple years back, so that had several million views online, it had several million views on television, but people weren't just spending 30 seconds with those brands. They were spending 3, 4, maybe even 8 minutes interacting, engaged with this video.
Those different segments.
Yeah. And so overall, so to think of a Super Bowl ad, for instance, say about 90 million people spend 30 seconds with your brand if you get a spot on the Super Bowl. If you get a spot on the finale of American Idol, say about 26 million. It's been dropping lately, but about 26 million people spend 30 seconds with your brand.
Yeah.
Well, our sticky note video, the time that people spent with that is equivalent to 144 million people spending 30 seconds with that video. So that's a Super Bowl ad plus 2 finale ads on American Idol.
And that's because they spend so much more time with the message. So they'll watch a video for 3 minutes, or what we did, a Letterman segment that's 7 minutes long or something like that. That's way more than 30-second spot. So even though the view numbers aren't 100 million in views, in terms of the time that you're spending with your audience, it's about equivalent. And that's how we talk about ROI to our clients.
Our second campaign, the Diet Coke and Mentos experiments 2, the domino effect. the head of interactive marketing for Coca-Cola said that had the impact of a Super Bowl ad.
It didn't have 100 million views, but it had actually he said it based on sales, because we knew what the view counts were and the length of time and stuff, and he knew what the sales numbers were, and we saw a little bit of that information, and that spiked 2-liter Diet Coke sales by about 6%.
What is the check this out? What is the to hire people like a couple of people like you know, as a team? What will it cost as a ballpark? All right, depending let's say this is like you're busy and you can do that. It's going to take you about 3 months to put it together and all that. This is you're charging by the project, of course, but you know what is the cost? You know, in general of hiring people that create videos like you know, and with that kind of success, you know, what a business has to go, you know, people don't know what Coca-Cola.
And they can't say because it would be price fixing.
Yeah.
Well, no, but we can say this in rough numbers. Roughly, we're providing, I think, in the way we talked, a value of probably about $2 to $3 million per project, and we're charging mid 6 figures for that.
Okay.
And we also do consulting, which we just sort of charge like a law firm, so you can get us for a day rate or a couple days or something, and just pay by the hour.
But there's a sense from viral, you know, brands going into viral video. There's sometimes a sense that it's viral video, that means it's free, and it takes a lot. It takes as you say, we've spent 3 months working on a project.
And it's free after we release it, and that's where all the value starts to come in. But to get that to work for you, it takes a lot of our time, and so that's what we have to charge for.
Yeah.
What are the biggest challenge? I mean, besides, I guess, the creativity aspect of it, but what is the thing? I mean, it seems like, you know, you guys have a lot of fun to do it, and the success brings a lot of joy. But what is, you know, for you guys, really the thing that you hate the most about it too?
I think to make it into the business that we've been able to make it into, I'm sure it's like any business. You think, I'm going to run a bed and breakfast. It'll be beautiful, and there'll be muffins in the morning, and it'll be in a beautiful spot, and really, you're the one that's up before the sun comes up. You're making the breakfast, and you're making the muffins, and they're eating them. You're back getting ready to make the bed. And so we have this great business, and it is a ton of fun. We were just up today shooting off some mini rocket cars for some photos for a book that's coming out. But also, it's the PowerPoints and the meetings and the emails, and most of our life is just running a business. And so there's a lot of PowerPointing in life.
I was going to say PowerPoint. That was
even in our life. Yeah.
So was it like very difficult for you to do the transition, you know, from the circus aspect of it to the other circus, you know, in court, you know, how you know, that's circus stories, but you know, how was it easy for you to to combine your brains and make one company and
from two different places?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Actually, that was probably the easiest part. I mean, we knew each other for a long time before we started working together, and we had worked together in theater and clown stuff for a while, and so we knew we could work together. We didn't know for sure, but we knew we had a good simpatico. And in fact, actually, both of us, even though I was coming from law and Fritz was coming from juggling, and before that math, all of those, we had the same approach. Whatever the specific discipline is, it's very much the same, where you start out, you don't know anything about whatever it is you're working with, you don't know anything about the case or anything about this part of the law, and you just dive in and research like crazy for a while. And you figure, well, what does this item do, or what does this case say, or what are all the cases on this say? Then you slowly build a little vocabulary, and you start to put together your little pieces, and you start to craft it, and it was the same process for me for law that it is for doing this, just different specifics. And Fritz has said the same about juggling.
Yeah.
So that makes it easy to work together on that score.
Yeah. Well, good job, guys. Yeah. I want to switch it a little bit to ask you, what is the craziest moment, the craziest stunt, or the most unexpected result that you've had from one of the things that you've done?
Yep.
And you say they're recreatable experiences in your book. So how many bouncy balls do you have to send down a hill?
Yep.
All right, go for it.
So we've had a lot of crazy things happen. I think that we keep trying. So we're always pushing to do something new. And I think for me, one of the things that I love most is going up into our laboratory to tinker and seeing something that I'd never seen before, and often something that I never even dreamed was possible. When we set out to make the Coke and Mentos rocket car, we started by like sending them backwards. I mean, it was really, really hard to just get a bottle to move at all. And
oh yeah,
when the very first time, so we really set out to go, let's propel a human. That's the goal.
Right.
And it took years later, we were finally able to do it. But the very first time we tested the full-size rocket car, we had 108 bottles of soda, we had 600 something Mentos, and this entire contraption is pushing off of 2,000 pounds of cement blocks.
Right.
Wow.
But it got caught. It had so much power we couldn't. We had a release mechanism, like you had to pull a pin out and slide this way, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was so much power on this that we couldn't pull the pin out at first for a while.
And so the results were a little like it worked, but we're going, well, okay, what just happened? And Stephen goes, I think the wall moved.
Because we had video. We had a bunch of different cameras up for our own benefit. And sure enough, you watch the video, and this 2,000-pound wall of cinder blocks is going.
Wow.
And that was pretty surprising.
And that's the kind of thing. You know you're onto something when you're going, oh, that's cool. We just moved 2,000 pounds with Coke and Mentos.
Yeah. Wow.
That's awesome. So, and then the failure is part of the process. The failure is part of the success.
The stuff that we do is a lot of at least intermittent failure. That things don't work a lot. And I mean, sometimes you have to say that's never going to work. But you want to we try and hang with stuff for a very long time before we give up on it.
Yeah.
And often, if one of the key steps in our process is when something's not working, is to get it to not work again the same way. If we can have a consistent failure, then we're like, aha, that's a major step forward, because then we can figure out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can solve it. If we can figure, always when we do this, it does that. And sometimes, if we can say, always when we do this, it does that, then we go, well, let's just use that then. And you find a new direction to go in. As long as it's predictable, then we can work with it. One of the things we did with Coke and Mentos when we were doing our domino effect was, before we were doing it, we tried taking a bottle and drilling a hole right here, so it would shoot at a geyser like that. And we were like, well, that should look good. Let's go try that. So we tried that. Oh, there we go. So we outside and we shoot it up, and it's great for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then it tips itself over. It just fell over. Yeah. And we realized, as the soda's going down, it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. There's no more ballast. And the force is the same, so it tips itself over. So we couldn't get it to stay up the whole time. So now we have 2 solutions. One is we lock it down with other bottles so it can't fall over. Yeah. And the other is now we have a bottle that consistently will tip over.
We can do something with that.
So that became the basis for our next video.
We tied a string around the neck of the bottle.
We put the string to the pin to the next bottle
ran
here.
it to the next, so that when this bottle tips over,
this one pulls the pin, and then this one goes off.
Triggers the next guy.
And this one tips over, and the next one tips over. So we did 250 bottles across the field eventually, because that thing didn't work the first time. But then we were able to realize, well, can we make that happen again? And once it happened again, we were like, hey, we can use this. So.
What do your parents and family say about you?
So yeah, I had to tell my parents after a year and a half at Yale that I was going to go up and be a juggler, and then
I love it.
Medal-winning, world record-holding juggler.
But and then I
finally got used to that. Like, okay, if you're gonna be a gold medal-winning, world record-holding juggler, we can deal with that.
So then I had to go. So this video thing is kind of going crazy, and literally I was on my way when the first Coke and Mentos video launched. I was on my way to work at a youth circus in Vermont, and had to tell them something's happening. I'm going to have to leave and go on Letterman in a couple weeks, like complete insanity.
No way.
So they've enjoyed it very much. My parents have had a really good time with this.
Yeah, my parents are tickled as well. Not surprised, I think. I think they were like, yeah, you were always doing like crazy stuff like that. The key for me, the hardest part for me was when we started, I was still in acting practice, and I had to like face up the fact that I had to tell my clients.
Yeah.
Like, I was afraid they would be like, you are no longer my lawyer. I do not want the clown being my lawyer. And I had like 3 like live active cases, and everybody was great. I was expecting them to say, well, I was like, so here's a referral. If you need someone else, I can refer you to so and so. And they were like, that is so awesome. And they were all really
Oh wow, that's great. Well, hey, we've had so much fun with you guys tonight. I mean, you guys are delightful, and we're just really impressed with everything you've done and really transforming the future. I want to ask you really quickly, what do you think of the future of online video? And that could be media, short, web series.
Mm-hmm.
We have a friend, shout out to Ed Robinson with Pairings, the series. He's doing a series that's 8 minutes long, 6 episodes about, and it's beautiful. And I mean, and then we have the Netflix thing with House of Cards that just shot their stock up through the roof. And and it's great that Netflix is actually adopting this kind of thing. And
absolutely. I mean, I think
what do you think is the future if you could see forward 5 years?
I think we're going to see more and more how television, the old ways of doing things are no longer the way that we do it. So that more and more there will be television content, movie content available online, and that's where you'll see new television and movie content. At its heart, there will always be this word of mouth. There will always be this sharing that's going on of, oh, I just saw this thing. You have got to see it. And so we may be seeing a complete revolution of television, but I think 5 years from now, we'll still be seeing videos of cats and videos of the craziest thing, the new stunt, that will continue to be this really simple, direct connection to people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we crave. We consistently crave that emotional connection.
The other piece that I'm really interested in where I think things are going is the business model for it all. Because for 50 or 60 years, advertisers had a captive audience in television. Mm-hmm. There were 3 networks and then 4 and whatever. And that's where all of America was. If you didn't watch Johnny Carson, you couldn't talk to anybody at work the next day. Mm-hmm. And that changed with cable and more channels and stuff. But now, no one's watching the ads. They're watching the content. But on TV, they're DVRing and they're watching it on Hulu. And even online, they're skipping the ads. I mean, I'm not the only one who turns on The Office and then opens another tab and checks my Facebook page and then goes back when I hear the music come on. Mm-hmm. So advertisers have got a real conundrum now with people not watching the ads. They're watching the content, but they're not watching the ads that are sold against it. And that's actually where stuff like viral video can be really powerful, because the stuff that we do, people watch it. We know they watch it because they spread it. And I think there's a future on the advertising side for kind of branded viral videos or other kinds of content, not necessarily what we do, where the message is part of the entertainment. Because if it's not part of the entertainment, we're going to be rechecking our Facebook page or otherwise engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I when we started ToutSuite, one of the most remarkable things that I heard was Chris Anderson, who is the curator for TED, the bigger umbrella of the entire TED conferences, and he said, this medium of online video is what the printing press was hundreds of years ago, and you could recreate print then. And so what, the video is what we're really wired for. Sitting around the campfire, doing something, getting, talking to each other, seeing all the nuances of everything. And he said, well, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Good words to live by. We'll see what happens.
So it's wonderful to spend this time with you guys. Where are you appearing soon? Anywhere?
We will be coming out to California May 18th and 19th for Maker Fair.
Actually, then we're going to be in Maker Fair in Detroit, I think. We're doing Detroit?
In July,
and then
August, and then back in New York in September. But y'all out, keep in mind that May 18th and 19th, Maker Fair it's actually in San Mateo.
San Mateo.
Just south of
San Mateo County Fairgrounds. Do
Yeah,
not miss it.
Spectacular event.
We have fun at our show, but putting us entirely aside, you don't have to see us, but see Maker Fair. You've got to go to Maker Fair.
Yeah.
What is Maker Fair in a couple words? Real quick,
Maker Fair is
for everybody who doesn't know.
It's for people who make stuff.
Here's our magazine.
Yeah.
We have it always within arm's reach.
It is for everybody from robot makers to crafters. We've seen everything from like R2-D2 replicas to a guy who bends coat hangers into amazing sculptures of animals.
It was the first place I saw a guy who was knitting and drumming at the same time. He was drumming with his knitting sticks or knitting with his drumsticks. It's people who do all the crazy creative things that they want to share and then explain to everyone how to do it. So like we do our Coke and Mentos show and we explain, here's how you do it. Go home and do it. Get your bottles, make your own. And it's all kinds of crazy, some very high-tech stuff, very low-tech stuff. And it's
fun. We love it.
So if you have some time available, I don't know, before or after the event, and if you like wine and happen to be in Napa Valley, it'd be great to see you and meet you and maybe share a glass of wine or two or three.
We have beer and Coke, too.
We have Coke. I'm sure getting that. There is 7-Eleven right across the corner here.
We will be there.
Yeah.
We'll see if we make that happen.
Come and be part of our audience or come and see us and we'll do another show.
Definitely.
We have some makers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, don't. Very yourself coming over.
So, Stephen Voltz and Fritz Grobe, thank you so much. You can get their book. I've been paging through it right now. The Viral Video Manifesto, and it is awesome, and it's very easy to page through and to read, and has some amazing tips. I mean, they really resonated with me for sure. And you can buy it on Amazon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And bookstores around the country.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to drink, to read. I mean. All right, guys.
Hey, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for everybody joining us on camera, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like that. That's a 2 arm.
That's
up. Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you so much.